Last time on Madcat sailing.
I've just realised I had my cloth bunged in the inlet manifold. Made it. Well, we've just reached high water now. There's quite a lot of activity at the minute. Sort of, you get to high water and everyone comes alive, everyone's coming in, going out. So this is the nervous time now. As we all know, the engine's not been running fine, so fingers crossed it's sorted that issue now. So this is the big test now. So fingers crossed. Here goes. So put your cap on. RNLI. Gutted. Absolutely gutted. Doing so well and all. I swapped over the pump as well back to the original pump. Seems to be the pump, and it was brand new, that pump, last year. Ordered all the way from the good old USA, and it's let me down. Never mind, I'm going to pull it to bits to see what's going on inside that pump now. Well, pulled the fuel pump to bits. I'm reckoning there's not enough pressure, and there's two, I'd say, call them valves for now, and the valves, they look like they're quite worn really. They look like they've been on a lot longer than what they have, and as far as I'm aware you can't get them gaskets for them. You have to buy the full pump for this outboard. But I'm going to investigate a bit further, see what the crack is. Gutted really, because I put my old pump on and it's working fine now. It probably could have got me out to the front and could have gone sailing, but it's just that risk. You get out there or halfway out there and it gives up on you again. Now the trouble where I sail out of, it's quite treacherous, the water there. You've got to be 100% committed to it, because it's a thin channel with sandbanks either side, and the trouble with that is once your engine fails and high tide, it can run up to 6 knots coming in and going out, so it's quite fast flowing and it can really do some damage. And for me it's not worth the risk for the sake of waiting it out and getting a new fuel pump. So again, this year's sailing adventures, they're on hold again now by lots of things. I'm going to have to order one of these for next time I come, and hopefully that solves the issue, fingers crossed. So we shall see. That's all we can do for now. We're all in bits, Davey's in bits. Catch you again soon, Madventurers. Yeah, so I've come back home and first port of call was the coil pack. Looking at the coil pack, the connections are quite rusty, as you can see there. These connections are fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give these a clean, see if that makes any better connection with that. If not, I'm going to try a new coil pack and new fuel pump. I'll see if I can get some gaskets for the fuel pump and see if that solves the issue. But first of all, we'll clean this up, give it another fire up and see what happens.
I've been trying to find my way. Take me by the hand and let's go find our own space. Somewhere in between you.
Just going to give her a try now, fire her up again, see how she sounds.
I've been on my way for a long, long time. You've been on your way. You've been on your way for all your life.
Something else as well, the on-off valve for the fuel to flow through the system. There's a strainer as well in there. This is the actual tap to it. And that's full of rubbish as well, so that won't be helping the fuel getting through the system. So clean that up.
I can see the fire escape, and you can read my mind, that's why you're heading that way.
So what I've figured out is external tank, one-way valve, stops a backflow through the external tank. Through there's a pipe just under there that also goes through to the pump on the other side and also flows through here, which fills up the internal tank. So it goes through there, that's your stop valve for all fuel getting through, and then round the other side that's your pipe from that valve, from that tank, through here, through to your pump. From your pump, follow the direction arrow, through the filter, into the carburettor, and then suck bang blow, as they say. And away you go. So I'm thinking I'm going to get a new fuel pump. New fuel pump and a coil pack just in case. Fresh spark plug. And then we'll give it a go, so got to wait and see now when it arrives. We'll see how much it costs. So catch you next time when the bits are here. Welcome, Madventurers, to Carburettor Technical 5 minutes. Yes, folks, carburettor time. As you all know, carburettor failed, didn't it, Davey? Certainly did. And I would have shown you me strip it down. The reason why I've had trouble with my carburettor was there was sand in the bottom of there. How sand's got there, unsure. The outboard engine I bought second hand, and at the time it were running fine, but I'm assuming the guy who had it must have had an issue where God knows what's happened as he dropped it off the side of his boat and it sunk to the bottom, brought it back up and revived it. Who knows, but there was sand in there. There was sand in the bottom of this. I'll show you this. That's the bottom of the carburettor. That's where the float is on the carburettor. So all your fuel sits in that before it gets fired through the engine. And that had sand in the bottom of there. So I'm guessing the problem was sand. Who knows? So I've ended up give that a good clean out, so there's none in that. When I get back to the boat, I've got to pump all my fuel lines through and make sure there's no sand in any other lines and the fuel pump and that. So I'll have to bleed all that through. And what I've done is strip the carburettor down to this, which, yeah, believe it or not, that is a carburettor. Don't ask me about carburettors. I don't know a single thing about carburettors, only that it works. And I like what I tend to do is I pull things to bits and work out how it works. So yes, I know how it works, but I don't want to pretend that I'm a professional. So I don't want to give you false information on how that works. Say, that is that, this is this, and you go ahead and destroy your own outboard motor because of something I've told you that isn't right. But what I am going to do is I'm going to do a time lapse of me putting it all back together. So we'll go ahead and do that. Oh, before that, this is what I've done as well. I've all the little bits and bobs. You've got this. These are little holes where all the fuel fires through. There's this, and this had dirt around it. I think that's something to do with the airflow as well as fuel. So that's what dictates fuel going through the carburettor as well, and things like this as well. That's another one with a hole in it. And I've got this, and this is very tiny, and again that sits on my float. If I show you the motion of the float does that, and it pushes this pin in a hole and stops all the fuel flowing through, which fills up this chamber. So even though I said I wasn't going to tell you, I've still explained some of it. So fuel goes in the chamber. Once it's full, that plugs the hole, stops any more fuel going in, and air goes in that direction and out that direction with a mixture of fuel, which then gets fired in a piston, and it's the old suck, squeeze, bang, blow, as they say. So, suck, squeeze, bang, blow, yes, I did say suck, squeeze, bang, bleh. Everything that I've just shown you there as well, it's had a soaking in this. It's carb cleaner. Just see if you can see that. Yeah, carb cleaner. Now, there are other mates of carb cleaner on the market, so you don't have to use this one. This is just what I've purchased. So yeah, they recommend all these little intricate holes and things like that. Soak it overnight in carburettor cleaner, and it'll destroy anything. And you have to be careful with anything like rubbers and gaskets and things like that, because it will eat into stuff like that. I've found it's not destroyed plastic, so the plastic's fine. That was my worry, because I'd never used it before and never had to clean carburettors. So that's what you do. Strip it to bits, soak it in carb cleaner, put it all back together if you know how, and stick it back on the boat, and hopefully everything works. So I'm going to now do the time lapse, put it all back together, and then the next one will be down at the boat, and fingers crossed we're all up and running when I put it back together. So wish us luck, Madventurers, wish us luck.
Madcat sailing. Not the best. before you go guys, don't forget, hit the subscribe button. Things can only get better.